Hey there, my name is Paulina, and I am a New Jersey Watershed Ambassador. Today, we'll be discussing the incredible journey of water. Before we begin our discussion, I would like to give you some background on myself. I am a member of the New Jersey Watershed Ambassadors Program, which is part of AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps is a national service organization in which adults can volunteer their time and service to help their communities. My program is also sponsored by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, and it gives me the opportunity to create new environmental stewards through education, outreach, and partnership projects. We will begin our discussion with a brief outline. We will cover the definition of a renewable resource, followed by examples of renewable resources. We will then dive into water as a renewable resource and end by discussing water scarcity and water conservation. Along the way, I will ask you questions and encourage you to pause the video in order to discuss these questions. I will reference activities that complement this lesson. You can access tutorial videos to these activities through the New Jersey Watershed Ambassadors Program Facebook page or through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection YouTube page. With that said, let's start off with a question. What is a renewable resource? Take a few minutes to discuss your personal definition of a renewable resource. By definition, a renewable resource is any resource that is naturally replenished over time. Because renewable resources can naturally restock themselves, they are often associated with words such as forever or never ending. Based on this definition, can you name any examples of renewable resources? Do all renewable resources behave the same exact way? There are several examples of renewable resources. I have listed 4 on this slide, including solar energy, which is derived from the sun, wind power, which is derived from the wind, bioproducts, which are derived from living matter, and geothermal energy, which is derived from the heat found inside of the earth. Although all renewable resources replenish themselves over time, they behave differently in how quickly they can replenish themselves. The sun, for example, is fueled by hydrogen and helium. Nuclear fusion fuses hydrogen into helium. The byproduct? A vast amount of energy is released in the form of light and heat. This process will continue for billions of years. Because humans cannot influence this process, we are free to harvest as much energy from the sun as we'd like. Bioproducts, on the other hand, can behave quite differently. Paper, for instance, is considered a bioproduct because it is derived from trees. Paper is critical to our way of life, and trees are critical to our existence. Since trees grow at varying rates, we must be conscious of the rate of deforestation and how quickly we consume paper products. If our paper consumption is faster than the rate of tree replenishment, we may experience a shortage of paper products and a decrease in air quality. In this sense, this renewable resource is closely tied to sustainability or sustainable use. Can you think of any other renewable resources that behave the same way that this bioproduct behaves? Water is a renewable resource that is also subject to scarcity for a variety of reasons. Before we discuss these reasons, let's touch upon how water replenishes itself on Earth. There are 326 million trillion gallons of water on Earth. There always have been, and there always will be. In fact, some of the water that you drink might just have been consumed by the dinosaurs. Water replenishes itself through a continuous cycle known as the water cycle. To understand this cycle, let's begin in an ocean. The sun heats up the surface water in an ocean until it transforms into water vapor. The process of water turning into water vapor is known as evaporation. The water vapor moves upward through rising air currents. Eventually, it is carried into colder temperatures, which cause it to condense into clouds. This step is called condensation. What do you think causes the next step? Please pause this video to discuss this question in further detail. The water droplets, or ice particles in clouds, are being pulled downward by gravity. As clouds continue to form and grow, the downward pull of the gravity eventually outweighs the upward movement of the rising air current, and these particles begin to fall towards the ground. This is known as precipitation. Some examples of precipitation include rain, snow, and hail. Does gravity play a role in the upcoming steps of the water cycle? Why or why not? Once precipitation reaches the Earth's surface, gravity causes the water to continue to flow downward until it reaches a body of water. It can flow into several different types of bodies of water, including a lake, a stream, a river, or a bay. As the water flows along the Earth's surface, some of it may be absorbed by the ground before it reaches a body of water. This is called infiltration. Where do you think water goes once it is absorbed by the ground? Some water infiltrates deep into the ground to replenish aquifers. Other water infiltration remains close to the surface and can seep back into bodies of water as groundwater discharge. Once water reaches a body of water, the water cycle will begin again. Does water always evaporate directly from a body of water? Why or why not? Water can evaporate from plants or animals. To gain a better understanding of this concept and of the water cycle as a whole, you can pause this lesson and play a project wet game called The Incredible Journey of a Water Droplet. This game typically involves handmade dice, but I have created a virtual version. If you wish to continue with this presentation, this is a great moment to transition into water scarcity. We have learned that water replenishes itself by way of the water cycle. If water is a renewable resource, how might it become scarce? Please take a few minutes to discuss this question. Although water covers over 70% of the Earth's surface, not all water is available for human consumption. Before I continue, please consider trying two complementary activities called Water, Water Everywhere, and A Drop in the Bucket by Project Wet. These activities are designed to help you understand global water distribution. If you do not wish to partake in these activities, we will continue with a few questions. How do you think water is distributed? How much is salt water? How much is fresh water? And just how much do you think is available for human consumption? "97% of all water on Earth is salt water. Although it is possible to desalinate water, this process is often considered too costly or too time-consuming. The other 3% of water is fresh water. Fresh water is divided into subcategories because not all of it is available for human consumption either. Roughly 2.4% of fresh water is frozen. It can be found in ice caps and glaciers. 0.997% of water is fresh water that is neither frozen nor available for human use. This includes water that is too polluted to drink or water that is too deep to reach. The remaining 0.003% of water is available for human consumption. Life as a whole depends on far less than 1% of the Earth's water to survive. Using this newfound knowledge, is the concept of water scarcity more plausible? Take some time to reflect on this concept using the new information you have learned. Although we have less than 1% of all water at our disposal, This still amounts to nearly 10 quadrillion gallons of water. In some regions, water scarcity exists on its own. In many regions, however, it arises from overconsumption of water or from poor water management. Today, drinkable fresh water cannot naturally replenish itself at the rate that it is being consumed. Moving forward, society must rethink how it uses water. We can start this process by taking small individual steps. When it is time to buy a new toilet, a new dishwasher, a new washer, or new faucets, consider appliances that save water. Try using less water in your daily activities by taking shorter showers, turning off the sink when you brush your teeth, or by installing rain gardens and rain barrels outside. Become informed on the indirect costs of goods when it comes to water. The water required to grow the beans for 1 cup of coffee amounts to 40 gallons. The water required to create every piece of a cheeseburger amounts to 700 gallons. And a pair of jeans? Well, that costs 3,000 gallons of water. Take the time to really understand these indirect costs and strive to make thoughtful decisions. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation and for taking part in this discussion. If you are interested in our other presentations or in upcoming events, please check us out on social media. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us directly. We look forward to serving you in any way that we can.